everybody. Namaskar. Happy to meet you all back again. Yes, I'm Tanaya, joining you live from Bangalore, India. And yet again, we have come back with another session from the house of Team Cradle. As I reiterate in every session, that as a part of the Cradle webinar series, our team picks up themes, topics that are related to life, related to growth, related to being and becoming. Very recently, when our team was contemplating on what theme or what session to talk about, to topic to take about for this particular session, obviously we're doing it after quite a bit of a pause, and we were all contemplating, and then suddenly one team member uh, just suggested that why can't it be food? Let's talk about food. And then we all jumped. Food is something which is so much related, the most connected thing to our entire being, to our very existence, to our life, to our growth. And we were all wondering, how did we miss that session in the first place for so many years that we are doing this webinars from the page of Cradle. So today's topic is all about food, and it applies more in the current context. If we look around, we will see that we live in a world which is just overflowing with nutrition advice, with high talks about high protein, low carb, superfoods, supplements, longevity hacks, and whatnot. Yet, in the midst of all this, we find that people are tired, people are anxious, people are disconnected, and that is why naturally the question arises, are we really eating right? Is it how we nourish our body? Is health just the mere absence of diseases? Is there a connection between what we eat, our health, our mind, and body? So, all these questions led us to these conversations today. And in the conversation, we definitely want to explore, seek answers to some of these questions. And with me, I have again uh, a person who you already have seen in this forum quite a few times. May I please have him on my screen? Yes, there in our screen is Mr. Surya Prakash Mahapatra. You have met him quite a few times, isn't it? And he has been our mentor, guide, guest as a part of the Cradle team, the sessions that we do. Mr. Mohapatra is a global L&D leader, and that you can see on your screen as well. The write-up is coming up. He is driving AI-powered talent skilling and enterprise learning transformation for a very large business unit in a multinational organization. Mr. Mohapatra has over 3 decades of experience in the field of learning and development and HR in the IT services setup. And Mr. Mahapatra, as you all know, is associated with satsang. Apart from the talks on learning and development, he enjoys speaking about the life teachings and philosophy of his spiritual master, rather our spiritual master, Sri Sri Thakur. So, without wasting any further time, let me welcome you, Mr. Mahapatra, to our conversation, and
Thank you
let's
so
get
much.
started. Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's get started with the very basics, Mr. Mahapatra. You know, and I set the context in terms of why we have picked this topic today. So, at the very onset, let me ask you this question: what do you think is the real goal of eating well? Is it longevity? Is it prevention of diseases? Is it having the right inner balance? What do you think is the goal of eating well?
that's a fabulous question, very pertinent and relevant. In this context, I would like to begin by sharing with something which is very profound and which has been shared by my spiritual master, Sri Thakur Chandra. He says, when somebody is pinching you, there is an irritation in your body, there is an irritation in the mind, right? If somebody gives you a slap, you feel hurt, right? Both physically and mentally. Now, when there is an external impulse, momentary external impulse that can act on our body and mind, what about the food that we take day in and day out? Every day we take it inside our body. Are we really conscious about how it is going to act, react, influence, affect our body and mind, right? We need to be conscious about it. And I'm extremely happy that we have chosen this topic, which is very relevant, which is about our life, which is about our existence, because this is something that impacts us every day. I would like to bring up the slide, which will pretty much, which has a few statements by Sri Thakur Chandra, and this will actually talk about. It'll answer your question.
Sure.
I'll share with you three quotes by Sri Thakur Chandra. He says, "Stomach is for life, and life vitalizes stomach, but stomach is not life."
How profound.
How profound this statement is. So so the food that we take goes inside our stomach, right? But this stomach is actually for our life, and but the stomach is not life. So life is not about eating, but eating is about life. So Sisa Thakur also has said, pure food is the base of dharma. So food is the basis of dharma because dharma is about existence. Sisa Thakur says something very profound. He says physique is a potent exponent of the magic display of life. So our body, our physique, is a manifestation of our life, right? The strong, the potent, the beautiful, our physique is, the more strongly it demonstrates the magic display of our life. He again says a disturbed, depressed mind is an indication of irregular function of physique. And this demonstrates the connection of the body and mind. And, and this also tells us what is the real objective of eating well. We need to eat well so that we can keep our body and mind in harmony, in balance, in good shape, so that our life, our existence is nourished and nurtured, and we are able to meet the purpose of our life. If the life does not exist, then there is no body, there is no mind, right? The existence is what matters. So, and our existence is not for our stomach, not to eat, but we need to eat well so that we can live well and we can meet the purpose of our life. So I think that's how we can sum it up, as the objective of eating well.
Well said, Mr. Mahapatra, and such profound messages from the great master himself. And last time when I visited Deoghar, now Deoghar is where the main center or ashram of satsang is, founded by Sri Sri Thakur. So I was sitting there. There's a place called Nat Mandap. This is where currently the Acharya Dev, whom we very fondly call Acharya Dev, who is the fourth generation of Sri Sri Thakur, his lineage. He was there sitting, and generally he sits there for hours, uh, taking questions from people, discussing with people about life, about trying to solve problems for people. So in one discussion, I saw him talking about food, and he asked a person that, "Do you eat for your life or do you eat for your tongue?" Okay. So in Bengali, he was telling that, "Do you eat for your jivan or your jiva?" Jiva means tongue, and jivan means life.
Yes.
And uh, and it was like so profound at that moment. I was like thinking, yeah, absolutely. We generally we get tempted, right? Whatever tastes well, we get tempted towards it. But at the end, we are the food is only a means to aid our sustenance. It's aiding our life. So great resonance with the teachings or the sayings of the master himself, Shishi Thakur. And I thought, Mr. Mahapatra, I would just add on because it's something which I heard myself. I was sitting there and somebody had come, was talking about food, and Acharya, they were, just said about this, that we should always eat for our life and not our tongue, right? We should not get tempted. Rather, we should do something which is aligned to our life and growth, is what he was indicating. So I thought I would just add. These days, right, there is always talks about high protein intake. And in the if we watch in YouTube or television, you know, every other time there are ads popping up on different kinds of protein. Okay, this versus the other, one company trying to put the other down and say, "Oh, my protein shake is the best." Okay. And as a vegetarian myself, right, I always get questioned about protein intake and stuff like that. So my question to you, Mr. Mahapatra, is that if high protein builds muscles efficiently, that's what we all believe, could there be a long term trade off that we are doing and which we are not discussing enough in the current context? So, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. I think in this context, I think what I recall is something which is important. You know, protein is important for our body. There is no doubt.
For sure,
But
for sure.
protein is not the only thing that we need. So we need food which is compatible to our body, to our system. So we need to be aware of what our system is all about. What is the nature of our system, and what food is compatible to the system that we all have. So that compatibility is important. Only looking at food which gives us huge amount of protein but which is not existential can be extremely damaging to us. It can bring diseases to our body. It can impact our vitality. It can impact our mind, and it can really damage us in many ways. The great master has answered this question beautifully. I would like to bring up the slide again.
Sure.
And Sister Thakur Anukul Chandra has said something very profound, which I would like to share with you. And he says, there are, I think there's some part of it is a little broken, but what he essentially says is all proteins are not equally constituted, nor are they easily assimilable. So take that which is assimilable, nurturing to your constitution, compatible with your system, and which exalts your existence and longevity with good health. So all, there are many kinds of food that gives us proteins, but mind it, all types of proteins are not equally constituted, nor every type of protein is easily assimilable. So we have to understand that our body has a molecular structure,
Absolutely.
has a cellular structure. The food that we eat also has a molecular structure, a cellular structure, and if these two are not compatible, our system cannot assimilate the food that we are taking. nor even the protein that comes with the food, right? So, what we might see, possibly, especially food items like non vegetarian food, which in our sastras are described as tamasic.
Tamasic food.
Yeah, um, that possibly can, tamasic food includes animal flesh, it includes meat and flesh, it includes fish, eggs, etc. And these food bring a lot of proteins to our body, right? So, what typically happens, we see that when we eat this food regularly, when we eat non-vegetarian food regularly, we grow, right? Parents especially become very happy when the children, grow tall and then become fat, etc. The parents feel that their kids are growing; they feel very happy, right? But they're not aware of the trade-off. The trade-off can really be damaging, right? The trade-off can be plenty. Let's understand non-vegetarian food a little in depth because it's important for us to understand this. Um, Non-vegetarian food can bring a lot of protein, but it's not easily digestible. Everybody would agree, no matter how much of debate that goes on, whether non-vegetarian food is good or bad. Everybody agrees with one fact that it's not easily digestible, right? So if it is not easily digestible, it puts extra pressure on the digestive system. It keeps working all the time. It takes that extra effort to digest the food. And food, if it is lying, whether it is outside our body or inside our body, if it is lying for a longer period, it becomes toxic. That's common sense, right? We don't have to really study science to understand this. So another thing we have to understand is we also have a cellular structure which is similar to the animal cells, right? So the cells in our body cannot easily accept the cells of another animal because the cellular structure is similar, and the human cells repel. They refuse to accept the animal cell. What happens? There is a conflict that takes place because animal cells are also equally aggressive, right? So when they come in, the cells in the body will feel that there is an enemy that has entered the body, and they have to fight against that enemy. So if they have to fight against the enemy, they have to become stronger. So what happens? Cell division takes place because they have to become stronger to defend the cells that are coming inside our body. And because of this, because they need extra cells, uh, through the process of cell division, more cells are produced. So when more cells are produced, what happens? We grow. The body starts growing, right? But this growth is unnatural growth. So Sri Thakur and Kulchandra says, because of this rapid cell division, what happens? Your body grows faster, but the growth that should have happened in 5 years, you achieve that growth probably in 1 year, right? But we all have a saturation point. We all have a limit. So if we grow faster, we have also reach our saturation point faster. It's like a balloon. If you're blowing air into it, there is also a limit that it can take. After some time it bursts. So that the body is also exactly like that. It also animal food, because of the constant struggle that takes place between the cells in our body and the cells that come inside, because the cells, they're always
It
struggling, and
doesn't.
the resistance power over time reduces. So that's the biggest trade-off, right? It irritates our system, our body, our mind. It drives anger, aggressive behavior, anxiety. It leads to multiple diseases in the body. All of us agree that those who eat non-vegetarian food regularly, they have a high risk of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart diseases, etc. And very important thing, all of us ignore, don't realize, because our experience in the finer, subtle domain is very limited, right? Sister Thakur says it weakens our perception. The finer impulses that we receive from the environment, we cannot catch that, right? because our mind is restless, it is aggressive, it is anxious. So we do not get, we need to receive the finer impulses from our environment. We need a calm, composed mind and brain. In the absence of that, we do not receive those perceptions. And Sisa Thakur says it spreads toxic in our body. While you might say these are some of the, this can be explained from a spiritual angle, but science also has explained this. The heme iron, excessive, accumulation of that leads to heart diseases. Science has already proved that. TMAO, so TMAO as they call it. When we eat a lot of meat, our gut bacteria produces a lot of, TMAO, and that contributes to heart diseases. That affects our digestive system and so on. IGF-1 hormone, again, science has, establishes that animal protein increases this hormone, which accelerates cell growth, which Sri Thakur has talked about. And then this also leads to, cancer, increase in cancer cells and few other diseases. So the list can go on. The trade-offs are too many. Um, so I think the more we talk about it, the more we would probably
Sure.
need to explain. But yeah, yes, we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And good to see it from a scientific lens as well, Mr. Mahapatra. And many times, right? See, all of us are sometimes thinking ourselves as the body alone, right? We are not really able to understand the life beyond our body. So while maybe certain kind of food may apparently, and I'm saying the word apparently may lead to growth or a better physique, but then when we are talking about other dimensions of ourselves, when we're talking about our mind, our energy, our very being, there are these finer nuances which are there, which
Yeah.
definitely needs to be taken care of and which we do not realize. And that is where these aspects of having the right kind of food which can help us in this journey comes to play. And I think most of the times vegetarians get questioned around some of these things, and we really need to many times go into discussions uh, with the lens of science, that this is how we get impacted. And and along with that, see, most of the spiritual masters, right, uh, across ages have talked about the importance of eating a sattvic diet, staying away from non-vegetarian food, etc. It is high time. It is definitely high time when we realize this, because see, we have been blessed with immense potential as human beings. As you, when you started itself, you said that to enjoy this very life itself, right? This body is required, right? And along with it, right, we are blessed with this entire, so many faculties of our mind, be it perception, be it intuition, etc. But just that because of the way we are carrying on our life, the way we are eating, the way the principles we are following, be it diet, be it the way we conduct our entire life, keeps us away from realizing this true potential, this true nature of ours. Moving on, Mr. Mahapatra. Uh, we were talking about longevity, we are talking about vitality, we are talking about balance, and all that which we seek. So, what kind of food or dietary principles you think mostly support it? We already have somehow mentioned about it as we discussed so far, but then let's take it a little further and understand what kind of dietary principles actually help us support all these things that we are seeking in terms of longevity, vitality, balance, etc.
Yeah, what kind of food we should eat, what kind of dietary principles we should follow, I think that's a very relevant question. I will begin by talking about what kind of food we should not eat. We should not eat food which is stimulating, irritating to our system. Overly spicy food, fried food, food that kind of stimulates our senses, onion, garlic, you know, extremely sour food, etc. While it provides temporary energy, happiness, some stimulation for activity, etc., but consumption of such food leads to restlessness, anger, irritation, anxiety, mental stress, etc. So we should stop eating those food. In our shastras, they are called the rajasic food. We should definitely not eat tamasic food, food which makes us dull, which dulls our mind, which brings lethargy,
Lethargy.
fatigue, yes, which brings diseases to our body. Non-vegetarian food, stale or spoiled food, alcohol, all forms of animal food, meat, fish, eggs, etc. Right, except milk. Um, we should stop eating. What food we need to eat? We need to eat that food which is pure, which is sacred, which calms our body, which uplifts our mind, which elevates our spirit. We need to eat such food. And that food is sattvic food, right? Pure sattvic food actually elevates our mind. So if we can bring up the slides again, there are a couple of things I would like to talk about. So when we talk about sattvic food, it actually improves our longevity, right? What is more important than longevity? Many people believe longevity means living long years. It is not exactly that. Longevity means, of course, living long years, but living in a healthy, active, and disease free state.
The
That is
quality
important.
of life.
The quality of life is important. The length and the quality of life is important. So, here on the screen, you can see, and you can, if you do some research on the internet, you can also find this. There's some, regions in the world which are also called the blue zones. The Okinawa in Japan,
Yes.
Sardinia in Italy, and there is this place in Greece. There we have the highest concentration of people who have lived beyond 100 years.
And I think we
And
find reference of this in the book Ikigai, right? Some of this
yes, yes, yes,
stuff
yes.
as it starts. Right?
Exactly.
Please carry on.
And researchers have looked at the food, the common dietary patterns, and they found that 95% of the food they eat is plant-based. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, etc. Zero processed food, no sugar, refined flour, packaged food, etc. Absolutely not there. And very disciplined eating. They stop eating when the stomach is 80% full. Sri Thakur Nukul Chandra says three-fourth of your stomach should be filled with food and one-fourth with water, right? Very scientific, very powerful. And when we follow these principles of plant-based, pure sattvic diet, the results are visible. It reduces risk of cancer by 20%, risk of heart disease by about 50%. So it's quite visible. The common complaint against vegetarian food is, you don't get the nutrients that we need, the nutrition, especially protein that we need. But vegetarian food is rich in protein content. We just need to pick the right ones,
Pick the
right?
right ones. Yes.
Yes. As you can see here, the pulses, nuts, seeds, milk, soya, all of these have plenty of protein. They're rich source of protein. The vegetarian diet gives us plenty of fiber, oats, lentils, leafy greens, fruits. All of this give us plenty of fiber. And you can see here, in the interest of time, I'm not reading this verbatim, but most of this nutrition that our body needs, the vegetarian diet can provide, not just provide, can provide in plenty, right? So that's why I would say the food that we should eat is pure sattvic. Sri Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra has talked about four characteristics of sattvic food. He says it should be pure and fresh. It should be delicious. There's no point in eating food which is not delicious, right? A lot of people eat non-vegetarian food because they're very crazy about food which is palatable, delicious. And yes, everybody has a right to eat delicious food, and we can find plenty of delicious food in the vegetarian world as well. So it has to be fresh, pure. It has to be delicious, and he says it should be easily digestible.
Digestible.
Is the most important
And
thing.
and that part, right, on especially on the digestion part, Mr. Mahapatra. So there's a book written by Srishi. Not, I mean, these are orally he gave the messages for women specifically. It's called Nari Nidhi, or the code for the women. And especially
Yes,
since mostly, right, till days, it's a woman of the house who is in charge of mostly, I'm saying, and cooking and maintaining the kitchen, etc. as well. While obviously these days men are also doing their part.
yes,
But he says and I read it daily at my home. He says that food, have and cook food that is easily digestible, and that when digested can fuel your hunger back, right? So
yes.
you can feel hungry again easily, and that's what will give you nutrition is what he says. So I thought I'll just, since you're talking about digestion, I thought I'd just add on, Mr. Mahapatra.
No, thank you for bringing up that point. It's very, very vital, right? When we talk about food and health and hygiene, hunger is a very important aspect, and it is scientifically explained, and Sri Thakur has talked about it. And he says why hunger is important. He said when you're hungry, there is a certain type of fluid that is released from your tongue, right? And that fluid, when it is mixed with the food that you eat, right? When we're eating, when we're chewing the food, the fluid gets mixed with the food content, and that fluid has the ability to bring out the nutritious value of food.
Exactly.
Sri Thakur
The
includes an
enzymes.
analysis. Yes, he says if you're eating when you are not hungry, you don't get that fluid, which has the potential to bring out the nutritious value from the food. So, eating for the sake of eating, kind of deprives you of the value of food, the nutritious value of food. So that's why hunger is important. Sri Thakur says, don't kill your hunger, because then you are killing that important, you know, the fluid, or wasting it. And he says, don't eat when you are not hungry.
Yes. Then you are
Both the
like eating out of greed and not need, right? So, so when you're hungry, you are actually eating out of need, and
yes.
otherwise, you are actually eating out of greed.
So if you are fasting when you're hungry, that is bad. And you are eating when you're not hungry, that is also bad.
That is also bad.
It's so
Yes.
scientific. The literature, the philosophy, the teaching of Sri Thakur is so vital for our life. We experience that every day, and he has explained everything with logic. There is no miracle. There is pure logic. So
Yes.
yes, so I think I was talking about four characteristics. So it should be pure and fresh. It should be delicious. It should be easily digestible because it ignites hunger within us, and it should be existential. It should supply plenty of vital energy to a body, right? It should it, it should not be damaging to our existence. It should nourish our existence. So any food which does not meet these four characteristics has to be abundant, and any food that meets these four characteristics should be taken. So that's how I can sum it up, the answer to your question, what food we should take.
Absolutely. And also, I think in the realm of this um, tamasic or rajasic food also comes sugar and salt. So I was very recently reading a book which is called The Discourses on the Ideal. So this is the conversations with which devotees had with the eldest son of Shishi Thakur. We call him Shishi Borda lovingly. So all through that book, right, which is again an account of all the conversations, he's talking about less sugar, less salt. And he's
Yes.
saying that by adding too much salt and sugar, we rather are destroying the very taste of that food. Okay,
Yes.
we really do not know what that taste is because we are adding
Yes.
this salt and sugar. He also says that all the diseases that are
Yes.
there comes from the food we take. So we have to be
Yes.
extremely cautious and careful about our food. He also talks about that as we age, our food also should, the intake should get reduced as we
Yes.
age.
Yes.
Right? So we have to be very, as we age, right? And especially above 40 and all, we should be very, very careful on what we eat. So I thought I would add on. Also, another thing before I move on to the next question, I think one is the uh, what we are eating part, right? And another thing is how we are eating, right?
Yes.
Most of the times we are eating, and I myself sometimes, well, I try to avoid, but in the midst of, the demands of highly demanding job, okay, sometimes I'm eating, right, while working, and I'm not conscious what I'm eating. Okay. And my husband will always point out, you don't know what you are eating. No, that's wrong. That's wrong, right? Because, and sometimes in our hurry, we really do not know what we are taking in. Again, this is, while the food may be all right, but the way we are taking it, we are not
Yes.
taking it consciously. So this also impacts us, and we all should avoid it. Secondly, are we eating with gratitude?
Yes.
Right? Are we eating with gratitude? And I think somehow, the way we eat also plays a role with what we eat. And that also can be a little pondered about. Also, two, three food, which comes again and again in the teachings of Sri Sri Thakur. I would just add on and take it further from here, Mr. Mahapatra. One, he talks about Thankuni Patta, the leaf of Thankuni. It is
Yes.
called Gotu Kola mostly. I think the scientific name is Centilla asiatica. Okay, we can look that up. It's called in Bengal, in the eastern part of the country, it is called Thankuni, and Gotu Kola in the southern part of the country. So, Shishi Thakur recommends that we include this in our diet. Like in the morning, early in the morning, he recommends us to have two, three leaves along with the stem of this leaf. Okay, and I was just reading about. I was just wondering why has Shishi Thakur given so much emphasis on this particular leaf. And as I was doing my research, I found that apart from the nutrients, it supports our cognitive function. It supports our mental health. It makes us calm. So, in this age, Mr. Mahapatra, when we are grappling with depression, we are grappling with anxiety, we are grappling with so much stress, I think some of the elements like this, and I would like to just, talk about this leaf to our audience today, that let's talk, find about this leaf which Sri Thakur has so
Yes.
much talked us to, have it right at the start of our day. It's called Gotukola, Centilla asiatica, and please look up about the benefits of this leaf. And also another thing is sesame. He talks about that even if you are not able to make any food out of it, even if you are so busy, just sprinkle a little bit of sesame seeds on your food. That will also help you. So it has benefited me tremendously as a vegetarian. So I thought I'll just talk about my personal experience also to our audience today. Mr.
Both
Mahapatra.
Thalkudi, Sri Sri Thakur says the other name of Thalkudi is also Amrita.
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 Yes, yes, yes.
And it said it acts like nectar. And Thakur says, the more I talk about its benefits, the more remains to be said. Only who has experienced it knows about it. And sesame seeds, extremely powerful. Both this, Thalkudi and then sesame seeds, that bring gives us plenty of nutritions and also brings glow in our face and in our skin, in our body. That's something, thank you for bringing it up. And this just got reminded about it. Yeah.
Sure. So while talking about food, I think it also makes sense for us, and I'm sure we are moving in this direction, to talk about the holistic living. Mr. Mahapatra. So, beyond food, what are those lifestyle principles or habits that you think can help us live a very healthy life?
A very profound question because it's extremely important. And before we go into the lifestyle habits, etc., I think the first thing we need to do is we need to make a shift in our mindset, the thinking, right? Sometimes we look at our body as an instrument of pleasure, to give satisfaction to our sense organs. That's a very gross thinking, right? But there's a much deeper and much more profound thinking, which is this is an instrument of the supreme soul, right? And this is this is a source of abundant energy, right? Sri Thakur says every individual is a living universe. He says whatever is there in the universe is there in your body, right? So that awareness shift, actually brings about the paradigm change. Because when we look at ourselves as abundant, as an instrument of the supreme soul, as abundant accumulation of energy, and the complete and the flow of energy coming from the cosmic, from the supreme soul is within us. When we have that realization, I think the shift happens. Then irregulated, indisciplined lifestyle changes into something which is more profound, more congenial to existence, and so on. So, that's why Sisi Thakur has embedded all these practices into our daily routine, right? So he says the uh, root of discipline. The word discipline comes from the word disciple, right?
Disciple, yes.
So if you don't become a disciple, you will never have discipline in your life, because then you have a life where there is no regulation, because you are not accountable, answerable. You say it's my life, is my way, right? But it's not exactly your way. It can be your way if you have understanding and awareness of the abundant energy, and that you have within yourself, and you have the custodian of that. When you have that awareness, I think the shift happens. So Sri Thakur has embedded this into our daily routine. Our day begins with meditation, right? So, meditation is an extremely powerful tool which helps you connect with the supreme consciousness, right? So, when you meditate, focusing on the supreme consciousness, the living embodiment of the supreme consciousness is your master, a guide, a guru. So, when you focus on the master and meditate, the brain cells become receptive, sensitive, active. The perception, reception, ability to comprehend, analyze, understand, expand exponentially, right? That gives us the power. Um, then gratitude, right? All of us offer something called Istabruti, right? That's a practice that we observe every day. That is offering something to the master out of gratitude. And you have to bring in, when you offer that, you have to ignite the deep sense of gratitude within you, right? When you begin your day with that sense of gratitude to the supreme, right, your day is filled with immense amount of power, bliss, and happiness, right? Then the life and the entire day is regulated. You talk about thankuni. That's the first thing that we take before, in empty stomach, along with plenty of lukewarm water, right? That's where the physical aspect comes. Then exercise, right? After taking, thankuni also has the potential of taking out the toxin from our body. So when we take thankuni with a lot of lukewarm water, and after short gap when we do exercise where we start sweating, the toxic which is generated, the toxic that thankuni pata is able to bring out from our body, that gets released through the sweating. So one second. So that gets released through the sweating. So what happens? The toxin gets out of our body. Then eating. So Thakur says eat after sunrise, and if possible, eat before sunset, right? Because our digestive power reduces almost by 50% after 8 p.m.,
Absolutely.
right? So, and he says, eat when you're hungry, and if you're not hungry, don't eat. Somebody asked him, many doctors, specialists say that you should eat at, at fixed time of the day. Sister Thakur says, should you eat at a fixed time of the day, even if you're not hungry? What is the point? So he says, eat when you're hungry. Okay. Um, and then he has advised that we should eat when in dry feet and sleep. Sorry, we should eat with our feet being wet, and we should sleep in dry
With the
feet.
dry feet.
Yes, you know, and there are enormous, so many disciplinary activities, actions that Sri Sri Thakur has prescribed throughout the day, that can really change our life. Two important things. One is istavritti, and most of us who follow Sri Thakur also follow a set of principles called the principles of swasthaini. In that practice of swasthaini, the first thing we believe and practice is that the body is an instrument of service to the supreme soul. The body is a temple of the supreme
Temple.
soul.
Temple. This is super.
And the second thing that we follow is, whenever a good thought comes to our mind, action it, act on it immediately. This is where the physical activity comes into play, because if we become a storehouse of great ideas, but not we don't translate any of these into actions, then our life is not going to really become meaningful and purposeful. And another important principle that comes in there is, he says, serve your neighborhood, serve people around you. uh, that's important. That's the most important source of happiness. Sri Thakur says, environment is your source of your existence. Take care of your existence. If you take care of your environment, your existence will be taken care of. So these are some of the practices if we follow on a day-to-day basis: eating, meditation, sleeping, proper hygiene. Hygiene is a very important thing. He says,
Very,
don't
very important.
anywhere and everywhere, right? You don't know what virus, what bacteria can come into your food. Another important thing, I know we're running short of time, but he says the more you eat, the more you cook your own food, the better,
The
right?
better.
Because he said you should become swapaki,
Yes.
prepare your own food. Because if you go here and there, not only there could be physical virus and bacteria can come into your body through food that you eat, but also negative thoughts can come into your
Tendencies.
system. Because each one of us has certain thoughts, emotions, feelings, and each of our thoughts have radiations. Every thought I have has a radiation. So if I have a negative thought and I'm cooking, there is a radiation that spreads outside me that also touches the food, that also affects the food that I'm cooking. And everybody who's getting served, whoever I'm serving that food, my thoughts are also going to them through my radiation into that food, and through that food to them, to their system. So it's very important that we become aware of it.
Absolutely. And also certain principles like, again, in Nari Niti, the book for women that Sri Thakur, the messages for us that he has given, he says that you never should eat together from the same plate.
Oh yes, yes,
You never should, because you really do not know if somebody is carrying any germ, or again, those tendencies also might be at play. So always
yes,
make sure that you are being very conscious about the hygiene, right? Should never eat too many people from the same plate.
yes.
Uh, so I think these are some of the things which Sri Sri Thakur has talked about, and which by implementing in our own lives, we have got very, very richly benefited. And so we thought we should share some of these things with our audience today. But sometimes it becomes difficult just by me telling you, it's not easy to follow. Okay, and that is where in every of our session we talk about the need of a living ideal, right? I do certain things because I love my guru, I love my master. I don't eat non-veg. Well, health, hygiene, body apart, I do it because he has told me, because I love. So that attachment, that con- being concentric to the ideal, I think really helps. And that is why it is very important. And please do, I request my audience, if at all you have not been a part of our Cradle sessions earlier, please to visit our YouTube channel and Facebook page. In all our sessions, we have spoken about, we have emphasized on the need of a living ideal, a guru, a spiritual master in our lives. And through the attachment to the master, I think we are able to align ourselves in the direction of life and growth. We will start eating well. We will start conducting our life in the best possible way. Well, before concluding the session, I just want to do a very, very quick rapid fire round with you. So,
That
four
is the
questions for
what you're
you,
going to do about it.
Mr.
Sure.
Mahapatra. First one, any daily habit that you swear by?
Meditation. I wake up early in the morning before sunrise and I meditate for about 45 minutes every day. That's
Sure,
what I religiously try to do every day.
that's great. What is your favorite food? We have spoken so much about food today. What is your favorite?
Uh, Chapati and milk, roti and
Oh,
milk.
okay.
That's what I love.
We, as a kid, we used to have it a lot. These days, I don't have. I remember, as you said, it brought back my memories. In the morning, we used to have roti and milk. Any
Yes,
tempting
90% of my
habit?
childhood food I've been eating. I love it. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Any tempting habit that you consciously resist?
Ah, I love pakoras, you know,
Oh,
but I consciously resist that. I know it is pure tamasic food, maybe once in a blue moon, right? But I just consciously try to resist that. It's definitely not compatible to the system. Yeah.
sure, sure. And at the end, what is the source of your energy, Mr. Mahapatra?
Source of my energy, sattvic food for my body. Energy for my body comes through sattvic food. Um, Energy for my mind comes through meditation, and energy for my soul comes through my attachment to my master, who is the embodiment of the supreme consciousness. That's the source of
Absolutely.
my.
I see some of the questions coming up in the chat as well, but I'm sure we will take it. We will put those response, Mr. Mahapatra, in our YouTube or Facebook pages. I think we are already on the top of the hour. Any closing thoughts from your side before?
Yeah, I think I would say that healthy life is about wholesome living, where the body, mind, and soul is enriched. And I believe healthy life is about waking up every day and looking outside, looking at the beautiful sunlight, the nature, and saying, wow, I have got a wonderful day. And being able to do that each and every day is about the essence of a healthy life, is how I look at. And that's what all of us should strive for. That balance, that harmony is what we should be looking for.
Totally in alignment, Mr. Mahapatra. So I think we are also fortunate that the Supreme Father or higher consciousness, whatever we call, has given us this gift of uh, this beautiful life. Let us
Yes.
try to make the most out of it. Let us try to live to our full potential. Let us treat it, as you said, like an instrument of the divine. Let it be a temple of the Supreme, of the Beloved. Uh, so I will end on this note, a very powerful message by our Guru Sri Sri Thakur. And since we are talking about life, we are talking about crew. One clarion call that he gave to the entire world is, and I would reiterate the same today, do never die, nor cause death. Do never die, nor cause death. Resist death to death.
Beautiful.
Do never die, nor cause death. Resist death to death. Let's live healthy. Let's live happy. Let's just enjoy, with His grace, this beautiful journey of life. Thank you and namaskar.
Namaskar.